It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Your emails as well at randykabc@gmail.com. That's randykabc@gmail.com. It's almost over, everybody. We're almost at the finish line. As of this time tomorrow, you might have like a 3-month reprieve from nonstop political texts asking you for money in polls. Hopefully. Do you know how many times today I have entered in my phone, stop, please, stop. And then you tell them to stop and they don't stop. But at least it's all going to be over for a while, right? We're going to have a busy day here on KABC tomorrow, so stay tuned with us as I'll be on with John Phillips from noon to 3. Then I'll be doing this show from 5 to 6. And then at 7 o'clock, John and I go live from 7 to 10 statewide. We'll be on KABC. We'll also be on 560 KSFO in San Francisco. And some of the show will be broadcast on 580 KMJ in the Fresno area as we cover the entire state of California with the election results. We'll also, of course, do the national results as well. In fact, at 5 o'clock tomorrow, we'll start to have some of those results on the East Coast. So we'll definitely dip into that as we start tracking all the results of this election. One of the things that I have been looking at every day, because I subscribe to it, is the turnout rate when it comes to early voting and mail-in ballots in the state of California and in some of the counties like Los Angeles and Orange County. And I do find it just kind of fascinating because we have made it easier than ever to vote in California. Everybody who's registered gets a ballot in their mailbox by default, and you have a month to fill it out and either send it in the mail or take it to a drop box. I have a drop box that is right around the corner. I have used it in 5 or 6 elections now, if you count the primaries and everything. So it's never been easier to vote, but still, when you look at turnout, and this was especially true in the primary, but the general, at least in Los Angeles, doesn't look that much better. I'm sure there's a lot of stragglers out there, but as of this weekend in Los Angeles County, only 24% of ballots sent out were returned. Los Angeles County, a county with a population of 10 million people, has 5,768,000 registered voters. So they sent out 5,768,000 ballots. And so far, only 1.3 million have come back. So there are over 4 million ballots as of this weekend that still haven't been returned. Now, we'll get updated numbers tomorrow, and I expect that to go higher. By the way, if you look at the breakdown, the state is at 31% return. Orange County is at 38% return. But if you look at the numbers, what it says is, even though we have made it easier than ever to vote in California, there are a lot of people that are either waiting to do it on Election Day, which is your right, and if that's what you want to do, because then you get the sticker, good for you. You do get the sticker when you vote by mail, unless you're me and you threw it away and your wife asks you, hey, where's the sticker? I want to wear it tomorrow. And you say, whoops, didn't realize we were keeping that. Or there are some people out there that may just not be voting. Maybe none of the races are that interesting to you. Obviously, what happens in California, there is no altering of the presidential election. The Senate race isn't competitive. And even some of the really hot button races that were supposed to be really important, like Prop 36 and George Gascon, those are looking like blowouts.
We got some wobbly knees allies.
So I'm going to go through some of the statistics of who has voted so far, and we'll break it down by party and age and everything else. But here's what I'd love to hear from you, the audience. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. If you have not voted yet, if you have not returned your ballot, I want to know from you, are you planning on doing it in person tomorrow, or are there some of you out there listening that just aren't going to vote, which is your right? You don't have to do it. It is your right to do it, but you also can send a message by not voting. So I'd love to hear from you at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. California has made it easier than ever to vote. So far, 75% of people in LA County have not voted. Are you planning on going in person, or are you planning on dropping it off tomorrow morning? Or are you planning on not voting? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. I'd love to talk to you, love to pick your brain, because every vote counts, even the ones that don't. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. So when you look at Los Angeles County, you have the breakdown of party affiliation. And obviously, the vast majority of the electorate in Los Angeles County are affiliated Democrat. And there are 3 million registered Democrats in Los Angeles County. And of them, 26% have returned their ballots at 773,000. Independents, no party preferences. These are my people. I am registered no party preference. There are 1.7 million. And of them, only 18% have returned their ballot, a little under 300,000. There is an interesting thing that goes on with no party preference people. No party preference also sometimes means no interest, and no party preferencers vote at a much lower rate than the partisans. But you look at the third group, and yes, no party preference outranks the Republicans in Los Angeles County almost by a margin of 2-1. There's 1.7 million independents. There are 1 million Republicans in LA County. You think about that. That's interesting. That's, 20% of the electoral, 18% of the ballots that are out there. So that's it, for as heavily Democrat as it is, there is a presence out here. And Republicans tend to, in California, vote a little more often and vote a little earlier than Democrats because they've got 1.06 million Republicans who got a ballot. 300,000 have sent theirs back with a 28% return rate. But overall, when you look at that share of the electorate, the Democrat ballots outweigh everything else by 56%. So there may be some people who live in Los Angeles County who see their choices. We have a top 2 system where it's not like there is a Republican in every ballot. Maybe there's no reason for you to vote. But I'd love to hear from you at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. California is all mail-in ballots. California gets everyone their ballot a month ahead of time. You've had over a month to turn it in. Are you waiting to tomorrow to do it in person? Are you waiting till the last minute? Are there anybody out there that listens to political radio that's not going to be voting? Love to hear from you. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. If you look at the breakdown by age groups, well, overwhelmingly, by almost half of the people that have sent back their ballots are in the 65-plus group. That's 1.3 million registered voters that are over 65. 42% of them returned their ballots. The 50 to 64s, them boomers, 1.2 million registered boomers, 348,000 returned theirs. That's 27% return rate. The youngins, my group, I guess we're millennials. I don't know. 35 to 49s. There's 1.4 million of them, and only 18% returned their ballots, 258,000. And the demographic that's larger than all of those is the young people. There's a lot of young people in Los Angeles County, 1.7 million of them, and only 13% have returned their ballots, 221,000. If you haven't voted yet, are you planning on going in person or are you not voting at all? I'd love to hear from you. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Don in Rolling Hills. Don, hello.
Hey, how are you doing? So I'm
doing
part
great.
of your 64 age group, and I'm a registered Republican. I've got four people in my family that vote. And the 3 others already voted, and go Trump. I just wanted, I heard you said, you got mail-in ballots that some people don't go and use the mail-in, and I'm one of them. I like to go and vote in person.
So you'll be going and voting in person tomorrow?
Yes, for Trump.
There you go. And do you just like the in-person experience, or you don't like the ballot getting sent to you?
Yeah, I like the in-voting experience because I just want to make sure that my vote, when I put it in that machine, that it's counted properly. So I don't necessarily trust the mail-in ballots.
You don't. So you don't think that if you use the drop boxes.
No, I like to see my vote being counted as I've cast it. So.
All right. Well, there you go. Well, enjoy yourself tomorrow.
Yeah.
Get that sticker and wear it proudly. Don, thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the vote number. If you've had your ballots for a month, 75% of LA County residents have not returned their ballots. Are you planning on going in person tomorrow, or are you not voting? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. I do enjoy the in-person experience. I like seeing all of the volunteers and getting that sticker. But I got to say, I really like the voting at home process because I don't feel pressured to kind of move it along. Not that there's ever really been a line anytime that I have voted in any recent election, but, I really like sitting down, especially when you have all of these ballot propositions, trying to read them all out, sitting down with my wife, explaining what this is, what people are saying about this, and going through every single thing. The whole process takes me about an hour. So that's why I like to do it at home. And I will say, it is nice that when you put your ballot in the drop box, you can immediately track it online and you get an update that if it was received and if it was counted. So that's pretty cool. But hey, totally understand it if you like going in person. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Jimmy in Lakewood. Jimmy, hello.
Hi, Randy. I'm happy that I already voted in person, but I'm going to go ahead and take my parents to the polling place as soon as I get off of work in the morning. And I'm also going to make sure that my deceased loved ones get to turn in their ballot as well.
Okay, I wouldn't do that because that's against the law.
Right. So is everything else that George Gascon is allowed to happen too. So, we could all play that game.
You could, and I understand that sentiment, but voting with a ballot of somebody that has passed away, that's election fraud, and that's a federal crime, and they take that very seriously.
Oh yeah, federal crimes, just like Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. All right, thanks guys, you're doing great. Love the show.
All right. Thanks so much for the call, Jimmy. Appreciate it. I think he was just being silly. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. 1-800-222-5222. The election is tomorrow. You've had your ballots for about a month. If you haven't returned yours yet, are you planning on going in person tomorrow, or are you not voting? Which you're allowed to do. There will definitely be a lot of people in LA County that are not voting, as we only have 25% of ballots returned so far. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Morris in Studio City. Morris, hello.
Yeah, personally, I can't vote. But if I could, it's a bunch of baloney because if you remember years back, Kamala Harris wrote Proposition 47, was it? And now we got 36 to replace it. That should have never got on the ballot. How does these kind of propositions get on ballot for all these social issues? And then we have all these crimes going on. Nothing's done about it. And then I just got my property tax bill with all the voter indebtedness on it. I got to pay for homeless this, homeless that. Now they want more money for the sales tax for more homeless issues, and the money is being wasted. So why even vote? I don't know what we're voting for even. It doesn't mean anything. Not at all. It's upside down and backwards. So to me, it's a bunch of baloney. I don't vote. So even if I could vote, I wouldn't vote.
All right. Well, that is your right to feel that way. I totally understand it, Morris. Thanks so much for the call. But we do live in a direct democracy system where, honestly, if you got the signatures, you can get anything on the ballot in California. Sometimes that's how it's done with signatures and direct initiatives. Sometimes the assembly puts something on the ballot, but there have been a lot of things that have tried to get on the ballot that didn't. So, hey, I'd love to talk to you. If you haven't voted yet, are you planning on doing it in person? Are you planning on dropping off your ballot in the morning? Or are you not voting? Love to talk to you. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Election Eve. Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It is Election Eve. We're going to be here all day tomorrow, noon to 3, 5 to 6, and 7 to 10, talking about the results. As of this weekend, only 25% of ballots in Los Angeles County have come back. So there are 75% of registered voters in LA County that have not voted yet. My question to you, if you haven't voted yet at 800-222-KABC, is, are you planning on going in person tomorrow, setting it off early in the morning, or are you not voting? Let's go to Mike in Glendale. Mike, hello.
Yeah. Hi, Randy. I really appreciate you guys having Steve Cooley on about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, regarding the judges. That really helped out a lot with judge picks, because prior to that, I'd pick the judge with the coolest name, and I'd go with them. And my wife and I,
like
we always
picking a racehorse.
Ballot. Yeah, right. So my wife and I always take the mail-in ballot. We fill it out and then take it to the in-person voting and just copy and paste pretty much. But we'll never mail it in. I'm not a fan of that at all.
You like to do it in person?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Just like that previous caller said, it's counted right then. Your ballot is cast right then. It just feels good. And it's like a breath of fresh air when you walk out knowing that your vote got counted, hopefully.
Well, I appreciate the sentiment, Mike. Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I heard it. I had to do it. Yeah, some of these down ballot races, especially the judges, if you don't want to take the time to do your research, my suggestion just be leave it blank, because there are people out there. He was being funny about it, but I swear there are people out there. They're picking by names just completely at random for some of these. You don't have enough attention to pay attention to every single thing that's on there, and the judges can be really confusing. So you don't know anything about them. My rule of thumb usually is, I look for the person that worked in the prosecutor's office as opposed to somebody that worked in the public defender's office, but that's my opinion. Let's go to Phil in Santa Fe Springs. Philip, hello.
Hello, Randy. Thanks for taking my call. My thing is, I want my sticker, so I got to go in live and in person. And I drag my wife along with me, so we both get our duplicate stickers to match. And that's it. I like waiting till the last minute. I'm a last minute type person, so gives me tonight to go over all the ballots and read all the phony stuff that these people are saying that they did. No, I got to go in live and do it, directly. Anyway, I got to go. Thanks for taking my call, Randy.
Well, thanks so much for calling in, Philip. Appreciate it. And I will say there is something to waiting till the end, because things can change. There's information that could be out there, especially with some of these closely watched races. There are some people, they got their ballot at the beginning of the month. They voted for Isabel Jurado and then realized that she says F the police. So that's fun. And you can't undo your vote, as far as I know. You can't call them and say, hey, can I change that? Let's go to Patty in Yorba Linda. Patty, hello.
Hey, Randy. I was just going to say that I vote in person because based on the last couple of presidential elections, I honestly do not trust the mail-in ballots. And I know they're probably legit, but you and John actually had mentioned in Oregon, the couple of mailing ballot polling places that caught on fire. And I'm just like, I just kind of want to be there in person. And I can also tell you that in 2020, one of my brothers sent in, he mailed in his ballot, obviously voting for Trump, which, by the way, I am. And they questioned the signatures, so they discounted his vote. And I thought, no, I'm going to be there in person.
They challenged his signature and he'd get a chance to correct it?
No. He actually got a note later saying, sorry, we disqualified your ballot because your signature is somewhat different. And I'm thinking, okay, every time I write my signature, I don't think it's exact. I'm like, oh my God, what precinct received this that they discounted it? So no.
Yeah, that's the first I've ever heard of that.
Yeah. I'm not even kidding you. But your last caller too, I just kind of like going there. Just gives me more of a sense of security. I still completely disagree that you're not allowed to show your ID, all that. But anyway, nope, doing it in person tomorrow.
Well, there you go. Enjoy tomorrow and wear that sticker proudly. Patty, thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. 75% of ballots in Los Angeles County have not been returned. If you haven't voted yet, are you planning on going in person tomorrow, dropping it off tomorrow, or not voting? 800-222-KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Take your emails as well at randykabc@gmail.com. That's randykabc@gmail.com. It is election eve. It's finally all over tomorrow in Los Angeles County. Only 25% of ballots have been returned so far as of this weekend. So there's a lot of people out there that haven't voted yet. If you're one of those people, I want to know, are you planning on voting in person tomorrow, planning on dropping off your ballot tomorrow, or are you planning on not voting? 800-222-KABC. 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Mary in Redondo Beach. Mary, hello.
Hi. I wanted to let you know that I'm going to be voting in person tomorrow because I do not trust, sending it in, because the last time that I did, my vote was, not counted because of the signature not matching, they're saying.
Oh, really? So that happened to you?
Yeah, and the whole time, I was a lifelong Democrat until some years ago when I voted for Trump the first time. And then the second time around, that's when it got bounced back.
And they didn't give you a chance to correct it?
Well, they may have, but I think it was right after COVID, right, or during COVID. And I work at a preschool. I was the only teacher that came back. I was the first teacher. So I had a whole bunch of kids, and I just could not be absent. I could not really just deal with it. Plus, I was just so disgusted by the whole thing. Like, I just couldn't even believe it. And so this time I just want to go in and make sure I actually get it done.
Well, there you go. Enjoy yourself tomorrow. Thanks so much for the call, Mary. Appreciate it. Let's go to Bill in Woodland Hills. Bill, hello.
Hey, Randy. Thanks for taking the call. Just real quick, I voted last night, and I guess the polls are still open now. The locations are open tonight till around 7 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. And
I think
I'll tell
you're right.
you, it's very easy to get in and get out because the lines are not long. That's something that I was impressed with last night. It was a full, full court press on it. Everybody was there, very helpful, and I think that's a great way to do it. If you can get there tonight, do so, because you'll beat the long lines tomorrow. I'm sure of that. And I'll tell you, if you're looking at local issues, national issues, and you need a little bit of time to read through it, try to prepare yourself prior to going in, like you suggested. I even going through it, they give you a little bit of time to do a retrospective and kind of look at your material once you have voted, and looking at they give you a chance to guarantee that that's exactly the way you want it to go, and then you cast your ballot. It's a very easy process. I heard just this other caller saying that their signature was rejected. Yeah, that's a really tough thing to deal with, because honestly, how do you prove it? How do you argue it? It's virtually impossible. So my sympathies to your last caller. Very frustrating, I could imagine.
Yeah, that is super frustrating. From what I am told is if you get a ballot rejected, you have like 2 weeks to correct it. So if it's not the right signature, whatever that means, which then you're supposed to be able to fix it. But then that can be a whole major hassle. And there are some people that are like, nah, at this point, screw it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But this is an important election. I happen to be voting for Trump and the team, and even though we have to take a look at it, take a hard look at it. Some people, even though they have a second bite at the apple, as they say, if their vote is rejected, they have them just say, you know what, forget it. I don't have the time. And you really have to make the time on this one. This is crucial. And I hope that your listeners respond to that. And if you can get out there tonight, do so. You'll beat the lines, and you'll feel kind of good about it. You'll be a champion for this country if you can vote tonight.
Well, and to your point, if you go to locator.lavote.gov, it'll show you all the early voting locations, like you said, that are open until 7 o'clock. And just in the Valley alone, just on the west side of the Valley, there's over 24, and all of them have a wait time of 15 minutes or less right now.
Yeah, that's right. It's exactly right. I walked in, and I'll tell you, there were only about 4 other voters there last night. And it's still kind of funny. Even out in front, you have like the watchdog unit, people sitting in their folding chairs, kind of giving you the once over as you walk in. It was kind of, I don't know, I felt a touch intimidated by it, but nonetheless, hey, it's your chance to get out there and hear your voice heard, and why not go out and vote? And if you haven't done it, do it. It's something that I'm glad you're doing this tonight, Randy. You got to give sometimes a person a good swift kick in the pants and say, get up and get out and do it.
I think that's what you just did, and I really appreciate it, Bill. Thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. He's totally right. If for some reason the lines are crazy tomorrow and you don't want to deal with that, there are tons of vote centers open throughout the entire county until 7 o'clock. So you could go do it right now if you want to. I love that advice. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. Let's go to Joanne in Marina Del Rey. Joanne, hello.
Hi there. I wanted to let people that are calling in that are mistaken to let them know what really goes on at a precinct. I deliberately worked in 3 different elections locally at local precincts. What happens is when you go to vote in person on that machine, your vote is not cast. All you did was mark it, and then it goes into the black box at the back of the machine that's locked. And at the very end, they're all being collected, for days. And tomorrow night at the end of voting, the poll workers go there and open up the black boxes, collate everything, count them, put them in envelopes, and 2 people from a precinct take them to drop them off at a point to usually a truck that's collecting different precincts. And then that truck goes off to where it's counted. I assume now it's a City of Industry. You are not counted or cast when all you've done is mark it. Just as if you marked your ballot at home and sent it in. If you bring it in and drop it off at a precinct, same thing. It sits in the box until tomorrow night. I was one of the ones that opened up the box, collated everything, put them in envelopes. So people are mistaken if they think that those machines are connected to anything and their vote is cast. It is not. All you did was mark your ballot, and it goes into the black box, and it's held there until it's taken. If you mail it in, you can track it, online, or certainly if you drop it off and do it there, you can still track it. But it is not; those machines are not connected to anything. It's just to mark it.
That is a really good point. And I tracked mine when I dropped mine in the Dropbox, and it was, within a day, it was like, okay, we got your ballot. You're good to go. Joanne, I'm glad to hear that you've worked the polls. We really appreciate people like you. I can't believe how many volunteers it takes to put something like this together every couple of years, especially for a county this massive.
It's improved. Before they put the iPads in, excuse me, my voice is going, where they looked you up in person there, before they used to open up just papers and, and you have to sift through them, and they were horrible, nothing. Most of the people had to vote provisionally. Now, it's a lot better. They've got it tracked. In other words, I even caught people that came in. You're not allowed to register for any of these mailboxes, that are an address, not P.O. box, but a mailbox. It has to be a real resident. Well, we had people come in before that said that their address was one of these boxes, and I said, no, it's not. The computer knows, and I know too, because I know that address. It's just a place where you rent mailboxes, and it wouldn't let them vote with that. They had to use their old which is really their address, their real address. So it's a lot better than it was. But my really important point is it is not cast when you walk in person. And if you came yesterday or over the weekend to fill it out, your ballot sat in that black box at the back of the machine until tomorrow night when everything's opened, and then taken to wherever. It's usually a truck somewhere, and then it's taken to the facility. So people are mistaken. Those machines are connected to nothing. All they do is mark your ballot and hold it.
Well, Joanne, thank you so much for reminding us about this, and thanks for being a part of this system, and thanks so much for calling. We appreciate it. More of your phone calls coming up. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. If you'd like to email us, you could do so at randykabc@gmail.com. Phyllis in Arcadia writes in and says, I've been consulting Craig Huey's recommendations for judges for at least a dozen years. That's the same person that John recommends. So if you are curious about the judges and all those races, you can go to craighuey.com to check all of that out. Before we get back to the calls, look at this. 790 KABC welcomes Leonid and Friends, the world's greatest Chicago tribute at the Saban Theater on November 16th. Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com, but right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 gets a pair of tickets to the show, the world's greatest Chicago tribute band. Tickets furnished by the Saban at the Canyon, where music meets the soul. Good luck dialing. More of your calls coming up. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's time for the lightning round. I want to try to get to everybody on hold, so I can only really go to about 30 seconds for each call. Let's go to Joe in Santa Monica. Thanks for holding. Joe, hello.
Hi, thanks very much, Randy. I just got edified from your last caller. I thought that when I went to the vote center that I was immediately, my vote was cast. So I wasn't aware of that, but it was a nice experience doing that beforehand, and I appreciated doing that. But what I would really like to see is the way it was before COVID. I would like to see the voting process be something that's less likely to allow cheating. And the way it is right now, there's more of a chance of doing that than the way it was before. And I'm voting, I've voted, and I've encouraged other people to vote. Thanks, Randy. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the call, Joe. Appreciate it. Let's go to Jeremy in Huntington Beach. Jeremy, hello.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for taking my call, Randy. You know, there were a couple of people that said that they cast their votes, and then it was returned back to them saying for invalid signatures or something to that effect. Okay, there are so many tight election states with so many tight votes. Like, for example, Arizona, he only won by 10,000 votes. How many of those illegitimate Trump votes were invalidated, or are valid Trump votes invalidated? You know, makes you question
it's interesting.
and wonder
it's interesting that you
integrity.
ask. Well, let me tell you what happens here. Thanks so much for the call, Jeremy. In 2022, there were 9.7 million ballots cast in mail-in ballot. 120,000 of those were rejected. So that's a rejection rate of about 1%. Some states it's a little lower than 1%. Some states it's a little higher, but that's the rejection rate. And if your ballot is rejected, you usually have, I think, 2 weeks to correct it, even if it's after Election Day. And sometimes in really, really, really tight races, there are campaigns to go after those voters that had their ballot rejected. It does happen, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily an indictment of the process. I don't personally believe that there's a whole bunch of fraud out there. Let's go to Carmen in LA. Carmen, hello.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call, first of all. I just want to say that I don't want to say that I'm a last minute voter. I just want to say that I vote the day off. But the last time that I went, my voting place was closed. It was closed.
It was closed.
Everything. It was closed. I didn't get no notice. You know, I usually come from work. I take a walk. I go to the park. I go boat. And the place is closed. There's nobody there. All the doors are closed.
Unfortunately, that does happen because they change different locations. Find out where you can vote by going to locator.lavote.gov. And in the state of California, you can look for your county as well. See you tomorrow for nonstop election coverage right here on KABC.